Good afternoon. I'm Pam Rechner, and you might have noticed that some handouts appeared at your seat, and sorry about that. I'm old. I mean, I've been around for a long time, so kind of dragging me kicking and screaming into the technological age. However, those handouts will all be at links and so on on the administrator's page that they talked about earlier, in case everybody didn't get everything. I know we may have been short on a couple, but I hope you find those useful and interesting. Some I'm going to refer to, and others are just there for your information. And I do want to thank my StarNet friends for helping me get those copied and handed out, and also some other friends in the group that were helpful with handing out the handouts too. So we all have to work together, right? And I am supposed to be talking about blending, and I will, but I didn't want to keep it just to the blending. I know it says blending because it sounded good, budget, blending, bilingual. That's a little alliteration is real nice, but I sort of want us to think beyond blending when we talk about inclusion of preschool age children with IEPs. So if you talk about blending, it can be done in many different ways. So I would venture to guess that if we had everybody in this room talk about who has a blended program, and maybe just a show of hands, who's doing blending, see, there would be that many different ways of doing it. So I can't really stand up here and say, this is how you do blending, and you do this, because people have figured out different ways to do it, and we want to support that depending on your demographics, your individual needs of your district, and other factors. So there's one size fits all doesn't really work for blending. So we're going to look beyond that, because we also want to think about where are our kids with disabilities. You know, they might be in preschool for all, but they might also be in Head Start, they might be in child care programs, they might be in community preschools. So over the many years, we've been working with districts on including kids with disabilities. One factor continues to be the defining impetus for success with including preschoolers, and that factor is the philosophy of inclusion. Basically, the district administrators and staff who believe in inclusion and the fact that children with disabilities and children without disabilities belong together and should be educated together will find ways to do that. The philosophy of inclusion is backed by law and research, and we're going to take a quick look at each one of those. So the law, as you know, is IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, which requires that children with disabilities receive their special education and related services in the least restrictive environment. So we have that law, but also on February 29th of 2012, OSEP issued a preschool LRE clarification letter to states. And the letter reiterates that LRE requirements apply to the placement of preschool children with disabilities, not just school age, and confirms that for all children with disabilities, including children aged 3 through 5, removal of children with disabilities from the regular education environment may occur only when the nature and severity of the child's disability is such that the education in the regular class with the use of supplementary aids and services cannot be achieved satisfactorily. The letter goes on to state that the LRE requirement under IDEA states a strong preference for educating children with disabilities in regular classes along with their peers without disabilities. The term regular ed class includes a preschool setting with typically developing peers. So just a little basics there. And then this graphic I like because this is what, and I don't know if you can read it, so I'll sort of go through the boxes with you. I like this because this is what we want for all our kids, including our kids with disabilities. So starting with the top left, equality of opportunity, the same chances and opportunities in life. Then to the right, full participation, opportunities to be included in all aspects of the community and protected from attempts at segregation. Then to the left bottom, economic self-sufficiency, opportunities to engage in income-producing work that contributes to the household. and independent living, opportunities to fully participate in decision-making and to experience autonomy in making choices. And we have a responsibility at the preschool level, I think, to be leaders in that, because so often kids with IEPs that get segregated in their very first, youngest years stay segregated throughout their school careers. So I feel like our responsibility is even greater at the preschool level. So then we're just going to briefly look at our facts, and these are based on research, and you do have a handout that includes the research plus a few more facts. Inclusion benefits children with and without disabilities, and children with disabilities can be effectively educated in inclusive programs using specialized instruction. Families of children with and without disabilities generally have positive views on inclusion. Inclusion is not more expensive, and children with disabilities do not need to be ready for inclusion. So in summary, the research is clear, it's effective, idea is clear, it's preferred, and the profession is clear. The Division of Early Childhood and NAEYC, the National Association for the Education of Young Children, position statement is out. So our professional organizations have provided us with another good resource that I'm just going to make reference to, which you do not have. It's kind of long, but you can Google it, and it's on a number of our websites. It's on our ISB website too. But in 2009, the Division of Early Childhood and the National Association for the Education of Young Children partnered to author this position statement on early childhood inclusion. The following description of inclusion in early childhood is a part of the statement. Early childhood inclusion embodies the values, policies, and practices that support the right of every infant and young child and his or her family, regardless of ability, to participate in a broad range of activities and contexts as full members of families, communities, and society. So while LRE is the language used in the law, inclusion is the values, policies, and practices that support educating young children in the least restrictive environment and with our typically developing peers. The position statement summarized the desired results of inclusive experiences for children with and without disabilities and their families, such as a sense of belonging and membership, positive social relationships and friendships, and development and learning to reach their full potential. And the position statement also states that the defining features of inclusion that can be used to identify high-quality early childhood programs and services are access, participation, and supports. So, and taking a little bit of a different side track here, we did have a lot of questions about the early childhood educational environment codes. And so I'm going to briefly go over that, and this is a whole workshop in and of itself. So just a brief look at it, and then always know that you can call us for more information. Also, you can call our technical assistance project, StarNet and Early Choices, because they've been they can be very helpful for that too. So regarding the EE codes, to meet the OSEP requirements, ISBE must submit a state performance plan and an annual performance plan every year. How many people know about the state performance plan and the annual report? SPP, APP, APR? Oh, not very many. Well, it's fascinating reading. If you have a chance, it's on our website, so take a look at it if you have insomnia or. But it is interesting, and it helps you figure out what's going on in the state. So there are 20 indicators in the SPP and the APR, and the EE codes are used to report our data under Indicator 6, which is preschool LRE. So what we're looking at under Indicator 6 is the percent of children ages 3 through 5 with IEPs that are attending. The first indicator, 6A, is regular early childhood programs, and they receive the majority of special ed and related services in the regular early childhood program. And B is the percent of children 3 through 5 with IEPs that attend separate special education class, separate school, or residential facility. Indicator 6A data includes children who attend a regular early childhood program and also receive the majority of their services in this environment. So for example, codes 30 and 32 are for children who attend a preschool for all or a Head Start, for example, and receive their special education services and related services in the classroom. In order for a program to code children under 30 or 32, they must not be pulled out for services, and they do not attend a specialized program to receive special education services. So the goal is to have children receiving their services in their regular early childhood program placement. And improvement, if you're looking at your data, improvement in this indicator would be represented by a percentage increase. So you want to increase the number of kids that are in regular early childhood settings and receiving their services there. And so for support for this is also found in the preschool compliance checklist for the block grant. And it has a number, this is number 20, I think, right, Donna? Yes, thank you. And the one we're interested in is the last one, which says special education supports and services are provided in the PFA classroom and embedded into the activities and routines of the day. So that's what's best practice and what we're looking for under that compliance checklist, in addition to the other three, but I don't need to read all of them to you. The second indicator, or the second part of indicator 6 is B, which includes children who attend a separate special education program only and do not attend any kind of early childhood regular program. So for example, Code 23 would be used for children who attend early childhood special ed self-contained classroom and do not attend Preschool for All, Head Start, or any other regular education program, including childcare or any kind of community preschool. So in this particular measurement of indicator 6, improvement in your district would be represented by a percentage decrease. So you're going to decrease the number of kids that are segregated in self-contained placements. But fortunately, there's an app for that. So through one of our technical assistance project, Early Choices, and I hope everybody's familiar with that project. How many people have heard of Early Choices? Yay! So through that project, we developed an app so that to sort of help people go through the process of figuring out what's the right code for children when we're doing the educational environment codes. And so I know you can't see this, but you can look at it when you can look it up online. And it can really help, and it can also give you documentation that you can put in your files. And for administrators, it could provide a way to check that your staff has gone through the steps of determining the correct code. So, because you can print out a little document, or you can save it or email it or whatever. So check that out, it's fun, and I think it works pretty well. For old-fashioned people like me, we still have the decision tree, and I know you can't read this either. Some of you might have this as a handout. How many people have seen this before? Yay, again. And so there's also the decision tree, the paper, and then there's the technology, depending on what you like to use. And then we do have 2 early childhood special education technical assistance projects, Early Choices, which we just talked about, and StarNet, and all of the websites are listed there for each StarNet region. There are actually 6 regions with 5 entities for StarNet that the administrative agents. How many people have heard of StarNet? Thank you, yay. And that's it for me, so thank you. And like I said, we're available if you need to have any questions answered or have comments. Thank you.